Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Broyans Farm. Since my previous video, I've been saying how it was supposed to rain. We've been getting little amounts of rain here and there. Nothing like the forecast has been showing, but there's still a good chance in the next upcoming days, which is good. We got about a ½ inch so far, and that's really good for the plants, but we could still use some more. It's really nice not having the peppers to water no more. That's a big job off our hands, because on a hot day, we would have to do that, you know, twice a day, and it would probably take about an hour each time because there was so many. But now, basically all it is our mid-season cold crops and our second batch of the cantaloupe and watermelon. And just since I was in here yesterday, these have all come up. They weren't coming up at all yesterday, and it's almost 100%. And all these are coming up really good. This flat, it's a little bit not so good, but I think they'll come around. You can tell that's just a different variety. That's the Ace Plus, which is only a pollinator. That's not actually going to produce any watermelon. We have a couple of hollyhocks here on the floor that are still not blooming. You can see all the buds on them though. Hopefully within the next week, they'll be starting to open up. It's just a variety of colors, so we have no clue what is which. Then out here is, like I said, our mid-season cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli. And we're trying something new this year, the purple kohlrabi. We've been growing this the regular green for years, but in our seed catalog, Dad's seen this and I was like, well, that's different, let's try it. It's actually red kohlrabi, but it looks purple to me. Yesterday I got some 20-10-20 mixed up for the high tunnels and for our mid-season cabbage. I'm gonna put that on today. We fertilized this upper high tunnel I think once before, but the lower one hasn't gotten at all, and that's because we didn't have a Dosatron for that greenhouse. But now, since we're done at the market, or just about done, we brought that back, and that can stay in there now for the rest of the season. These tomatoes are just gorgeous. Every time I come in here, they're getting bigger and bigger. Today's Monday, so we're closed at the market, but probably tomorrow I'm gonna pick a couple of these and take them out, just because I think they're ready to go. You can just see all the tomatoes. It's crazy. I just got to the lower high tunnel. This is a lot smaller, and the tomatoes were actually a lot smaller. But now, since it's been a couple days since I've been here, looks like they about doubled in size. This one is about 2 or 3 weeks behind the other one. You can see how much smaller the tomatoes are, but it's looking very, very promising. You got all these nice flowers on, and a ton of tomatoes. I just got the chemilizer, or I call it Dosatron, in place. I gotta hook up the water to it, and then I'll bring down my fertilizer bucket, and I can start fertilizing these. We have some new kitties in the barn. I don't know if you can see them right there, poking his head out. So I just got the Dosatron running. The fertilizer is coming up out of the bucket. You've just seen it go up through this tube. Now you'll see it come into this tube. The water isn't running very fast, so it's not operating very fast. But in a moment here, you'll see it. That's just remnants of the old fertilizer. This fertilizer should be coming through here any minute. Here it comes. One more click. There it is. If there's air bubbles in there, that's not good. It's not operating correctly, but only because I just started it up. That's why you see that. But now it's solid, or just about solid, and it should run solid now for the next 20 minutes, which is how long I'm gonna fertilize. The cherry tomatoes, like normal, are going crazy. These are, oops, pop that off. These are actually the grape. This is the cherry, and I think I mentioned this before in one of my previous videos. I don't know what in the heck I planted. I don't know what went wrong with the plant. It actually looks pretty healthy, but there's something going on that isn't right, because these are supposed to be cherry tomatoes. So
Like I said, I don't really know. I'm glad we got this one instead of selling it to a customer.
We have other ones planted that are doing just fine, so I don't really know. This one's kind of just like a freak. Sammy and Frank, we're in the process of just getting all of my flats ready to start doing the late season cabbage, which I'll hopefully do here in the next hour or two. Now that they got that done, they're gonna work on the field sunflowers that we just sell for retail. Unlike the ones we put in pots, these will actually just go in our field. As long as the bunnies don't eat them, they usually sell pretty well.
Why are the fans on in that greenhouse?
I'll shut them off now that Frank's done. So she just went through and dropped a seed on top of each cell. Now she's just going through and pushing them in. And we'll cover them back up with some more dirt, and that'll be the end of it. So we went and got lunch, came back, and started bagging corn. We tried flying as fast as we could because a pop-up storm showed up. Started rumbling, we only got halfway done. We didn't exactly clean up, we just packed everything on the truck and pulled it in the garage. Now we're back out here again. It's nice and sunny, but it says there's another storm coming in about 2 hours, so we're gonna get a couple jobs done here and then hopefully finish up for today. One of those jobs being finishing up the bagging corn. Sammy and Frank are down there in the barn right now, just getting the Kubota out with the scale. I'm actually gonna head over to the greenhouse and seed the late season cole crops. I'll finish this, they'll finish that, and then hopefully we can all get done around the same time. It's just really hard with the severe thunderstorms in these greenhouses because when the sun comes out with both ends open but no fan running, it gets very hot in here even though both ends are open. If we have the big vent fan running and one end closed with one door open, it keeps it around 80 to 90, which is about as cool as we can keep it in this hot heat. The problem was that we had a big storm coming through with high winds. We didn't want that big fan running, so we just opened up both doors. But now that the storm's passed and the sun is back out, I gotta turn the fans on again. I just can't believe it. Half hour ago, that sky was black. Now it's beautiful blue. In probably 45 minutes, it's gonna be black again. So if you've been watching my videos from way back, you'll know how this process works, but if you don't, I'm gonna explain it to you. We have two different kinds of dirt. We have a dirt that's made for our 6-packs, and then we have a special kind of dirt that's made for our seedlings called the germination mix. That just has a little more nutrients in it to help that plant start out. And the germination mix is of course what's in these flats right here. Now this variety I'm doing in particular is called Apex. This is a newer variety of cauliflower. We're not gonna plant a full tray, and as you can see, it's just filled half. So I'll plant this whole thing just to where the dirt stops. Right here is the seed. I even wrote down 950 seeds left. I must have only used 50 seeds because it's only a 1,000 seed packet. Once the tray's full of dirt, I'll take this thing, which I call it the impression maker, and make a little bit of an indent in the dirt, just so that the seed sits down below the top level, and I can cover it with vermiculite then. That's pretty good. I want it a little bit deeper right here. Perfect. Now we'll move on to the next station. This is where it goes into the tray holder. Kind of fits in there nice. Now I can start seeding. This is my vacuum. My hose gets hooked up to the seeder right here, and you can see all 512 holes in here. I do have different trays with different size holes for different size seeds. This one is kind of like the middle of them all, and it just works nice for all the cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli seeds that I'm going to be doing today. All the seeds are about the same size, but almost all of them are different colors. This one here happens to be like a greener color. And just from doing it so long, I kind of know how many to put on. So I put on a little bit extra, I'll shake them around. Right here is the center of my tray. I'm gonna go one over center. Back over here to my seed tray, drop them in, turn off the suction. I bang it a couple times. No seeds left. And now you can see all the little tiny seeds in each cell. Once that is done, they'll come in here to the seed room where we'll put the vermiculite on them. The vermiculite is kind of like mini little sponges. They absorb a lot of that water and then they hold it in. That way it doesn't dry out so quick. And again, depending on the seed, it depends on how deep they like to be and how much vermiculite they like covered over top.
Now, one thing that cole crops like that most of the other seeds don't is they don't need it so hot. So they like it a little bit colder. So we'll bring it out here in the big house instead of keeping it in the seed room where it's warmer. And they'll be just fine.
Sammy came to help. She is not only writing down everything that I'm doing, so we have record for next year, but also she is now filling or covering all of the flats with vermiculite. I have, I think, 6 more to go, and you can see all the ones I got done so far. They look so pretty when they're done, I think. Now I just gotta go through and water everything.
Since that vermiculite is fresh, I gotta be back quite a ways, just so I'm kind of like misting it. And then once it gets set in, I can get a little bit closer and do a more exact job. This is just to set all the vermiculite in at the moment.
It's time to feed the cows, right, Daisy? Here they come.
I'm actually surprised they're not up here yet. I guess I am doing it probably about an hour before I usually do. Come on! The stampede.
We've got 5 here.
We have one more. He always seems to be in the back, but he'll make his way up here.
We just got out here to the market. Sammy is actually sweeping up some corn. We've been having a lot of rodent issues lately. You can see the hole there. I set up a box trap. I caught a chipmunk and a squirrel so far. Took them way back in the woods, a couple miles from here, and let them go. And now I have another mess that Sammy's cleaning up right now. So obviously there's more. I hope there's not more than one, but I did set the box traps again, so we'll see what happens. We usually don't have this kind of trouble more than like once a year, but this year it seems to be pretty bad. Corn stacked. I got my box trap set on this side for smaller, like chipmunks.
And then I got a bigger one over here for like squirrels.
In the store, there's Sammy. There's nothing going on because we are not open. But tomorrow, 6 a.m., we'll be getting ready for a busy day. Never mind 7 a.m. So it's the following day. That's why I'm wearing a different shirt. Before I ended this video though, I wanted to show you what our peppers look like in the field. I showed you, planting all of them, but I didn't get to show you what the finished product looks like. It's hard to tell from here, but it looks really cool because it's almost like a sea of peppers. It's one of the widest fields I ever remember having peppers in. I don't know exactly how long the rows are. I think it starts out like 700 foot, but slowly the field shrinks and the ones down here might only be 500 foot. But still, it's a lot of peppers, but it's just about the same amount we plant every single year. We did get a little bit of rain overnight. Not a lot, like 2/10 of an inch, something like that, 3/10. The last row here is all of our super hot peppers. Then after the peppers stop, we have a drive. We never planted tomatoes in bare ground before, or at least not from what I can remember. But we had the extra room, we had the extra tomatoes. We figured why not? The only thing about tomatoes is you can't plant them every single row like we do peppers. You have to skip a row because these get so much bushier and so much bigger than what a pepper plant does. That's what I'm gonna call it a wrap for this video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and always remember it ain't much, but it's honest work.